Today, we're going to explore the diverse experience of living in two different worlds. And in this case, we're going to be looking at Africa and the western part of the world. I'm your host, Prince, and I'm joined here with me by my co-host, Dylan Primp. Avatar, you're welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a while. I know
I
it's been a
know.
while where we take a
Why
little
has it
break.
been a while?
I think we kind of take a little break. We need the break. And here we are again. So we're going to be looking at the advantage and disadvantage of living in Africa and western part of the world. And in this case, we're going to be comparing living in Nigeria to living in America.
Oh, you said advantages, or we're focusing on only the disadvantages?
Both, we're going to look at the advantage and we'll look into the disadvantage.
Okay.
And just give you a brief then before we dive in deeply.
Okay. So definitely there's a lot of advantages and disadvantages from living in both worlds. There's initially the reason why, someone will say, okay, let me leave my home country for a different country, right? So I guess the number one big advantage, unfortunately, is that your home country is not giving you something that you would like. Something that is your home country is not giving you something that is paramount to maybe flourishing as a person. And if you're married, as a someone that's married, and if you have a family, children, as someone that has children, if the primary place that you are in is not giving you, what you want in terms of safety, political, there are so many different reasons why a lot of people move. And in Nigeria, we call it japa. There's so many reasons why a lot of people japa. There's a lot of reasons why people would move. Maybe politically, sometimes there's, wars in different countries and people are like, you know what, it's time to move. So there's so many reasons why people move, so many advantages why people would move. I'll say disadvantage on this end. Disadvantage, your country is not giving you something that you need.
It's more like
as a citizen.
It's more like you're trying to consider the advantage of lifestyle.
Lifestyle, definitely. Yeah. Lifestyle, politics, religion. So there's so many academic reasons, why people move.
So if we have to look at it on both sides, where do you think has the advantage when it comes to academic? Like education.
So in terms of education, there are advantages and disadvantages too.
So do you think getting your education in Nigeria is far more better than in America? Or?
There are advantages. Yeah, there are advantages of getting your education in Nigeria. Yeah. And, I think our culture has a very big role in getting our education back home. It's believed that, we take education very serious in Nigeria. And our culture says,
most, if Nigeria migrate to
other countries,
western part of the world, they still take education very serious.
Yeah, they take education very serious. I think it's the way that you're getting the education. Here, there's a lot more laid backness to it.
Like people take it for granted, or do you think most people take education here for granted?
People take education here in the western part for granted. But if you're a serious person coming from a country where you know that it is so tough to get education, you'll be serious to do it here.
That's why you say the fire.
The fire is
those
hotter.
People coming from Africa,
exactly, yeah.
Because they know probably where they're coming from
has a disadvantage.
Yeah. So now that they have it here, but honestly, in my own opinion, I think education is cheaper in Africa compared to the western part of the world.
It's cheaper, but then look at all those times that you go to higher institutions and they will have
those are just the hiccups.
The hiccups is a problem. A lot of people will start college and what happens? Riots.
They go on strike. Even if it may not be about the student. It may be about not getting
Right.
enough payment,
So a
enough
program that's supposed to last 4 years,
4 years,
you end up
going for like 8 years. I've
so
seen during my own time then, or before even I get into the college, I've seen some of my older ones that would be home for like a whole year.
a whole year without going to school. Yeah.
So that kind of had
So
to more of the, and that's why probably you see a grown-up adults still living with their parents
right,
in
definitely.
Nigeria. So that's one of the things I think could be this. But if we have to look at the standard
This
of
thing,
the
thank you.
education we're getting here and in Africa,
Africa is still the best.
I still
If
prefer
there were no
Africa education.
hiccups,
Yeah,
if there were no
the
hiccups, you go
standard
to school.
is
Standard is far greater because we have a lot of doctors that are moving to other countries to
yeah.
help them. So
So I'll prefer Nigerian standard of education. But now that was when we were growing up. But for whatever we're
I think it's
having
changed.
now, yeah, there's a lot of less qualified people getting into the education system now, to the point that our student is even better than
The teacher sometimes.
yes.
Yeah, it's because of those hiccups along the
Yeah.
way. That's why we are here where we are.
So for me, I'll believe both sides have their advantage and disadvantage.
Exactly.
And in America,
Yes.
I will see that like the epic economic center of the world. So America is known for that, and that could be an advantage for people that do migrate from Africa to America because of the economy and the
Stability.
freedom.
Stability and
Yeah.
freedom. Yeah.
Freedom, everything. There's a lot about why a lot of people want to move to America. American has a lot of advantage over over Africa and Nigeria in particular. There's a lot of things that you were able to do here, and you also like you have the, let me say that they give you the environment to thrive. If you can put in the
Effort.
effort,
As I said, stability. Yeah.
then there's no need for you to know who is who. That's one thing about
Sometimes you
here.
need to know who is who too.
Yes, but you cannot compare that to
So that's all.
yes.
Yeah.
And one thing that I also notice here is that probably maybe it's because not because Africa don't have that we don't have all these laws. We do, but sometimes in most cases it's not implemented. So people believe that I can get away with anything. And this still take me back to the education system in Nigeria. And this is kind of predominant in college. That the lecturer will fail you on purpose just to sleep with you. And if you do not dance to their tune, they make your life miserable. So those are the things I believe here in the western part of the world that you may not experience.
I think it's happening.
Yeah, but there's
We
the
don't-
chances that you will experience it is really low.
We might be saying it's low,
Because
but the
they
people
know
that are doing it to say
the chances that you will experience it will be low to the point that you'll be victimized just because you didn't dance to the tune of your lecturer. Here, you are very much aware that if that gets out of the room, you may lose your
disciplined.
license,
Yeah,
you'll be
you'll be
disciplined,
disciplined,
you may not be
right.
able to teach anymore.
True.
So there's more
Consequence.
damages or consequences that can happen to you here if you
Than
engage in
back
that.
home.
Not that people don't do it,
They do it.
but the chances are kind of really low. So that is an advantage if you're studying in western part of the world.
Yeah.
So we're going to go into another part of it, which I'm going to say that healthcare. What's your opinion on that?
Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of experience with healthcare in Nigeria. I remember when I was a little girl, I think I knelt down on something that was not good or something when I was greeting, and my knee got infected really, really bad. And my knee was so swollen, we had to go to a hospital and get injections and get antibiotics. I want to say that's probably one big experience that I had then. And I was like, I have to be a nurse when I grow up, not even knowing that we were going to travel. And another time was when my grandfather was sick and he was in the hospital. I used to stay under his bed because they have high beds then. So me, I'll go under the bed and I'll stay there. So I was very young when I was in Nigeria to experience healthcare. But the only other experience I have is watching TV. So from, those experiences, I can't say that they are good or bad, but I know that there are some hospitals now, some clinics now that are making sure that they are always nice to their patients because thank God for social media.
Yeah.
If your nurses aid are not doing well, you will hear it on social media. And once they say, this hospital in Lagos did this to me, this hospital in Ibadan did this to me, and they say, don't go there, they will rubbish you. Nobody will want to go there. So because of social media, a lot of places are sitting up, but that doesn't mean that it's still not there. There's a lot of, I don't know why there's disrespect to patients. Patients are coming to your place to come and get healthcare, to get better. And you now be, disrespecting them. I don't know why that is a thing.
That was a time I went visiting someone at the general hospital right then. So I was looking at this lady. You were trying to administer probably maybe first aid or something, and the patient was kind of, like they feel pain. You're trying to administer something, like on a wound, and it was like, you need to keep your mouth shut. Did I send you to get injured? Something like that. You don't see that passion in what they are doing, and you don't see the feeling like they really feel sorry that you get injured or you're going through this certain pain. They just talk to you as if like they don't want to be here, right? And now that they think they are doing you a favor,
They are doing you a favor, yeah. Like
and
we are
if
your
you
God.
complain about that service, they just give it to you straight away. It's more or less like they don't treat you. If there's a lady also, a pregnant lady, and they were trying to. This particular nurse was making, like us our own opinion about why she got pregnant. So that kind of make me feel like, okay, it's not in your position to judge why she got pregnant early. Your job is to make sure she gets a good care. And that's why she said, but she was like, oh, at your young age, you're pregnant. Like they're trying to be your mommy at that point in time. And I was like, okay, why are Nigerian nurses, and I'm not going to say every one of them, but majority of them, why do they feel like, what, they can talk down on you just because of a mistake that happened to you or because something happened? They just talk down on you. They make you feel less of a human being, or because in this particular incident, the lady was like, oh, like it's because you are wayward, that's why you get pregnant. Something like that.
So what would make someone say that in that instance? I think there has to be maybe I think it's a culture.
Probably the culture may be the reason.
And some people feel that they are entitled because they are helping you. They feel like they are entitled to say something like that.
More or less like they believe the village you raise a child, things like that.
So exactly.
But in this case, this is a professional settings. I don't think it's in even a doctor's place to try to make you feel bad about, their job is to comfort you, to make you feel comfortable while you are getting the best care. I want to believe,
I think it's the
Nigerian, we have best hand when it comes to medical practices. We have best hand, but
that culture still,
the culture is
a
there.
Barrier.
Then we lack some, the infrastructure, the equipment, everything. That's part of what we're lacking when I'm talking about the quality of service that you will get.
Compared to here?
Yeah, here, even though you don't like the person you are giving service to or whatever, you cannot show it because that's going to be a bad rep for you. You have to smile. You need to put smile on your face, because if you don't smile, they may not receive the service from you.
No, me, I don't.
You have to smile.
My smiling doesn't mean anything. I'll take care of you, but I don't know why do I have to smile?
Well, if you don't smile, they feel like it's like, now that they are doing rating.
No, I can't talk. I must
not
smile
like
too.
You can't talk. Not like, okay, you're walking into a patient's room. They want to see you happy doing the job, or else they give you a bad rating.
Oh,
right?
Bad rating.
They will rate you by, that nurse, that doctor, he or she is mean. He was frown at me, even though you don't frown.
Has nothing to do with you.
It has nothing to do with them. They're still going to complain because they understand that
It's a service.
there's going to be a consequence for
Oh.
not smiling, not, like not making them happy. You understand?
Uncomfortable.
Yes. So even though you don't like that person, you have to put on that fake smile. Do you think someone will just come, a lady will come to a hospital, a pregnant lady, probably even if she's 12 years old, right? And you were like, as a nurse in America, you were saying that, oh, it's because you are wayward, that's why you are pregnant. And it captured that voice and played to your supervisor.
I can't say that.
You can
That one
lose
you
your
can lose
license
your
for
job.
that.
Yeah, that one you can lose your job.
That's what I'm saying, that there's a consequence for whatever come out of your mouth here. Why back in Nigeria may not be so. So that's another thing.
This is
Now,
it's a smiling that just gets me. It's because
the
someone
smile is
complained.
good.
It's not like I'm
to
taking
smile
care
is
of
good.
you. I'm doing
If you
things.
smile, is good. It make their deal. Some even don't want to see your smile. They don't care about it. Some take that as a big deal, that when you enter the room, you have to smile. They just want it.
And actually back in the day they'll say, oh, you have to know three new things about this patient. So that means you have to genuine conversation,
Yes.
talk to this person, even though you don't need this information. I'm like,
It's just to make them comfortable.
I know it's to make them comfortable. It's just, there are different personalities. Like, I don't need all this. Not like I don't need all this information. My type of personality is like, I like my own JJ. You want Tylenol? I give you Tylenol. You want medicine? I give you medicine. Are you okay? You feel better? Good. If you are feeling uncomfortable, please let me know. That's it. But that extra, oh, your granddaughter just graduated. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling me.
Do you know
That's
some people just
awesome.
want to talk?
But yeah, is that talking that
that
I'm,
kind of
I'm
calm them
tired
down.
of talking.
I think that should come with the training of
But
the
yeah,
job.
and it goes into always having a passion for what you do. If you have a passion for what you do, they can tell you your whole life story. You can go to their family dinner.
You
It's
sit down there,
not,
you just listen to
exactly.
them.
So
that's so. Let's talk about the cost of healthcare on
good.
both sides.
I thought that was what we were going to talk about before. The cost. So yes, in Nigeria, you have to have your money. I mean, yes, you have to have money for services to be rendered to you. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, we sometimes don't have the infrastructure where you can be, putting money away like insurance.
There's
some companies that do that, right? And unfortunately, I don't want to say is not enough of preventive care.
Yeah.
So most of the time,
people don't go for medical checkup.
Whatever problem it is you're coming to the hospital for is already 11th hour by the time you come to the hospital.
Yeah.
So by the time you come to the hospital, you will need like $10,000. And you're like, where am I going to get $10,000? And on this, and it's the same here, but
yeah, even though they have the service or the opportunity here, some still don't do it.
True. But here is like, okay, you can still get the care, but you can be paying little by little.
Yeah, they can. Even if you don't have insurance,
even if you don't have the
still
insurance,
going to get.
they'll still
and
save
that's
your
one
life.
thing I don't like about Africa. It's money first before treatment. That should stop. Well, that's what I think government need to come in and do some kind of regulation
to save people's lives. Otherwise, people are just
people
dying.
die because of 10,000 naira. Some people die because they couldn't afford drug of 2,000 naira.
Yeah.
And here we have senators buying car worth 150 million naira.
But I've always said on this show that sometimes there's A to Z problem, and we can't be taking the problem from the medicine part. A lot still needs to be done to be able to make sure that the healthcare part stands.
You see, this is what I believe that should be standard in every part of the world.
Yeah.
Our right to standard healthcare. It should be standard every part of the world.
But if everything else is not standard, it will be hard for that one to stand.
I think just like here now, if you're working, they make it. You just have to get
health insurance. You're putting money away.
I understand some companies do that now in Nigeria, that they give you health coverage. Yes, even will cover you, your wife, and 4 children. You can have that. The cost is very, very minimum compared to here. There's a part I think government need to step in, but the problem is that having access to all this
to healthcare
is the problem. Here, the access is there. You walk in, even if you don't have papers, you don't have anything. Life or saving life come
Come
first here.
first.
The access is where I think the problem is, right? You have easy access to healthcare here in America or other part of the world. Even in Europe, I think healthcare is free, but the money is coming out of your tax. But
Yeah.
back in Africa, where I think the K leg is because most people don't pay tax like that.
Mm.
I've seen lately that I've seen a lot of all this. Probably let's start from the hip hop artists. I don't know how do they pay their tax. Those that are doing like social stuff, all those things. How do they pay taxes? Things like that. The other part of it is that when even if they paid, is government utilizing it in the right way or they're
I
just
think
using it to buy cars?
no, I think Instagram and all these things you have to for you to be monetized or something. There's
Yeah, but that
W2 and all these things
is going
integrated
to America
with
is taking
government.
a lot of that.
Yeah, and
If
that's
you're
how
from
they are
foreign
getting taxed.
country, if you're from foreign country, America is taking their tax before you even get paid. Understand? I think they're doing that. But how is your own country getting
Country
their own
getting
cut so that all these
money
infrastructures
don't
can be in
go.
place? Yes.
Yeah.
But you can understand a typical African man don't want to pay tax. You know that, right?
Yeah,
So that's one thing I think is could be another kind of hiccup getting. But government should do more.
definitely.
Free healthcare, I believe Nigeria can afford that. That's for sure. We have the fund. It's because the fund is not being allocated in the right channel.
Yes.
It should be very easy to get. Even back where I'm from, the general hospital is free for everybody. You get there, you get treated, things like that. But when you have probably some drugs they're going to ask you to get, that is coming out of your pocket and may not be affordable. So that is why I think health insurance should come in. People should enroll for health insurance,
Yeah,
probably
Nigeria.
like the Obamacare, things like that. You only pay little, and that could cost some kind of drugs that you need, probably over the counter. You know,
And I think
I don't think the system is in place though with all these pharmaceutical
exactly.
company.
People don't think that people don't take healthcare as not as important in Nigeria as well because there's a
It's not
lot
be,
of
I don't want to say they don't take it as important. A lot
let
of people
me
don't
land
go
now.
because they can't afford it.
Let me
And
land.
the system, it's like there's no
The system
system
is
that roll
broken.
everything
Yes,
together with the
that's why
pharmaceutical
healthcare is
company.
not number one. If someone cannot even afford 3 meals a day, healthcare is not going to be number one.
You're right
So
on that.
I'm thinking of okay, where am I going to find my next meal? Shelter, food, shelter, and something else. Those three basic things are not there. Why would I be worried about my health when I can't even eat? So there's a lot of things that need to be put in place for healthcare to really now come in and make sure the whole society is healthy.
That's right. That's not going to be their priority because
Exactly.
human survival depend on something you put in your belly.
Yeah,
So food
exactly.
will come first.
Yeah.
So you're right on that one. But I believe government can do better by putting that system in place so that people will have free access to healthcare and it's going to be a standard one. So let's go to another one, which is going to be standard of living. What do you think about living here, the standard of living here, and the standard of living in Africa?
Oh, standard of living. I would say Nigeria far better. So once you have money, if you have money in Nigeria, I mean, the standard of you can still live a good life in Nigeria compared to here. Here, I feel it's just too expensive. I mean, yes, you're working, yes, but I feel Nigeria
Do you
has
know
a
a
better
lot of
standard of
people?
living.
Do you know
Yeah,
if
you're stressed.
even most, I think the youth, and I can understand that most youth in Nigeria just want to live because they don't see light at the end of the tunnel, and it's kind of glaring in their face that there's no light at the end of this tunnel, and that's why they
And
feel
there's
like
no
they want to
light.
live. And I don't think there's light. Even for me, I don't think that with the kind of people we elect, I don't see any light at
There's
the
no
end of the
light.
tunnel. Because let's look at an example. We have the new president that just come in. The next thing, his son is using presidential jet to do party thing. And that is going to be fund using public money. The money that we're complaining that is not enough.
Enough. He's wasting
And
it
the president's son took the plane.
for fun.
And if that has a private jet, they can't use that. Now that your father become the president, the next thing is for you to take the presidential plane and you turn into your, like, something you can be like flying around.
President plane.
Yes.
Like Air Force One.
Yes. Do you see that happen? Even look at New Jersey. When the governor used the government shopper, they ask him to pay, you foil it, and you pay for using it.
Back.
But in Nigeria, we see President Muhammadu Buhari's daughter did that during their
For his
own
wedding?
yeah. No, not for his wedding. The
wedding.
lady just take it to London. It's more or less like they're using that opportunity, which that's impunity right there. Like you're saying, you know what? They don't care because the fund is coming out of Nigerians' taxpayer, and that need to be frowned upon. Where people cannot afford 1 square meal. We have a president's son doing this rubbish. I mean, honestly, when I saw that story, I
Slap
feel
in
like,
the
you know what?
face.
Okay, what's going on in this country?
It's a slap in the face.
So that alone kind of pissed me off. But it's Africa. Until we're saying enough is enough, nothing is going to
Nothing's
stop.
going to change.
So I can understand when kids say that all these youth want to live, and those that can't live, they resort in doing money ritual,
Illegal things.
illegal things. So standard of living here, because I still believe people want to come. Yes, if you come, if you can work, you make money, but just be sure that
It's
just
a
like we
stress-
have millions of them here now
it's
that they are here,
stressful- it's a
they still
stressful
decide not
life.
to work.
Yeah, it's a
They still
stressful
decide not
life.
to work. They still believe that doing fraud is the best way to go. Here, even though they have the opportunity, they are here, they have papers, they can work, but they still want to like
Get free money.
scam people to get money. So the standard of living here, I'm going to say that it's kind of,
50-50.
yeah, kind of 50-50
It's,
because you're going
honestly,
to have
it
the
is
money.
stressful.
You will have the money,
Yeah.
but the problem is that it takes your time. It takes life out of you.
Yeah, it's stressful.
It takes life out of you. If you're renting, it's going to be a big deal. If you own a house, and owning a house in
If you
America
want
is
to-
one thing
and
I
if
really
you want
don't
to,
like.
if you want to really, really live a good life, you resort to doing 2 jobs, because only one job will
But if
just
you are
take
doing
care.
2 jobs, how are you going to live good life?
Well, what I'm
Because
trying
you
to
don't even have a life when
what
you're
I'm
doing
trying
that.
what I'm trying to say is, okay, that's what I'm saying. If you have one job, it takes care of
You only make more money,
whatever.
but you don't have a life.
It only takes care of whatever house or rent that you are
Yeah.
taking care of, and a little bit of food. So now, if you say, okay, let me do one more job, so that's 2 jobs. Now, okay, the house is set. Now you have a little bit of extra money to play, just to play a little bit.
You see, if, as we just talking, something came to my mind, like if you're coming from Africa to America, you have to be intentional about something that I want to go there, spend 20 or 30 years,
And then
and come back home. It depend on your
save
age.
money and then invest
Depend on
back
your
in your
age.
country.
I think most people come here with the hope that
They're not going back.
they're not going back, right? They come here not having any plan that to kind of map out, like, okay,
Will you want to go back?
This
with
is
the way
my-
things are.
for someone like me, I will want to go back. I really want to go back, and I'm going to tell you why. We're going to get there. I've seen people go into debt just because they want to live some certain life. I've seen a woman that went to go and get a very expensive car and a mortgage house. So now you need to pay car note going to $700 a month. Your mortgage is there. So she's jumping from one job to the other. She couldn't sleep in that house that you are paying the mortgage. You have most of your stuff in your car. So I think she's doing some house job, like the home thing. So she just quickly wash up there, get in her car and drive to the second job. And at the end of the day, you are not enjoying the house you mortgage. So I'm looking at that. Is that a good
Is that
financial?
wise?
Yeah, is that a wise thing to do that? If you rent, or even as a guy, I'll be living in my car if I know that's what's going to happen. I won't have time to sleep. I just be living in my car. But in that case, you're paying close to like $3,000 for your house. You're paying
You
like
can't
7,
sleep
so
in
you
it.
can't sleep in that house, and you have this burden on yourself that probably some people are going to be calling you from Africa to send in money. At the
Definitely.
end of the day, you are doing 3 or 4 shifts, and you lose your. Before you know it,
Life is
you
gone.
have nothing. You have no life. So for me, standard of living in America is really poor.
It's very poor. I mean,
Very
for
poor.
immigrants.
For immigrants, for even those that are living here, a majority of those that are living here is kind of poor. And my standard of living bottom down to what we also consume as a food.
Mm.
Most of the food we eat here is really, really not good for our health because of the demand and the supply. So for you to get organic food is really hard. And whatever we're consuming right now is killing us directly or indirectly. Compared to Africa, that you are very sure that if you are buying vegetable, it's fresh.
Veggies.
Yeah. So for me, I'll prefer living back in Africa. I'll prefer going back to Africa because there's a lot of things that, there's a lot of advantage living in Africa. Probably, let's look at if you are raising kids, if you have children you are raising and you live in Africa, you're going to get a lot of help.
True.
Here, you can't get
Support.
that. If you need help here, you have to pay for that help, right? Then, the culture back home kind of help shape your kids
Children.
compared to here, that the culture here
Is
can lead them in a
detrimental
way.
to their
So
health.
that's why you want to be under the shadow of God if you're raising child in America. You have to be sure that you plant their faith before God and make sure that you attend church service and introduce them to it so that they will be grounded, because it's very easy here in America to
get lost.
To
depression.
To get
and
lost
to
here is
the
very
hands,
easy. And
the hands of drugs and so many other things. Yes.
So if you are not prepared yourself to make sure that your children are well grounded, they're going to do drug, they're going to expose to a lot of things because they go to high school. From high school,
Middle
in high
school.
school now they smoke a lot of all these
It starts from middle school. Not
electronic
even high school.
cigarettes.
E-cigarettes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's starting from middle school now.
So
Middle school, yeah.
those are the environments you want to raise your kid. I'm afraid, honestly, when it comes to raising kids in America, it gives me panic.
It's only God, though.
It's a panic. Thinking about the opioid thing, all those little things that they want to try out. Their border is wide open. A lot of things is going on that make me uncomfortable at all raising kids here. So I will choose Africa 100 times if you want to raise kids. But now let's look at the caveat in Africa raising kids. Insecurity is one of the major things now.
Police brutality.
We have police brutality here, but
it's not like
it's just
Nigeria.
In the case of Nigeria, it's really bad. It is in Nigeria the police will take your phone and ask you to transfer money to their account. If you don't do that, they take you to ATM machine and withdraw your money. If you have 100,000, they will take 98,000. That's daylight robbery. A lot of policemen do that. Thank God now that with the help of social media, we get them. Some of them get punished, some get them dismissed. Some we don't even heard about at all. So that is it's really crazy in Nigeria. And I believe the police authority can step up their game by, taking out all these bad eggs that are trying to mess them up. I want to say that we have officers in Nigeria that are really good. But this little one amongst them are just like hunchback that they need to like scrape off. So hunchback.
Oh.
That they have to like cut them off. They need to cut them off because these are face of. Let's say you are going to Nigeria for the very first time.
Face of security. That's what it's
starting from the airport. This is what will give you the first impression. But when the first impression is that people are trying to extort you right from the airport, people are trying to extort you of your money, hard-earned money. That speaks volume about how, or the problem, or the agony, or the difficulties that Nigerians are going through. Nobody likes to beg for money, but sometimes they don't have option.
Exactly.
And
when they are back
the moment they are in position of authority,
they
use that position to extort you because they don't get paid well, and they vent their anger on you. If you don't have enough money, you can be killed. I've seen a taxi driver that get killed for just 10 naira. So those are the hiccups you see in Africa raising kids. Now cultism is another thing. That's another big major problem in Nigeria. So, like I said, they have advantage and they have their own disadvantage if you're going to raise kids. But one thing I like is that you're going to eat fresh food. If you're buying cow, you know you are buying cow. If you buy chicken in Nigeria, you know you are buying real chicken. Here, you can be buying chicken. It can be fake chicken. You can buy rice. It can be plastic rice. They can tell you this is organic. No, it may not be organic. Eating McDonald's and all those things, lab-grown chicken, and they make it look like chicken. It tastes like chicken.
It's protein. They're giving you protein.
And at the end of the day, you realize you are not eating real chicken.
You're eating protein.
That's killing people. That's going to have a lot of side effects later. So when it comes to food, I prefer living in Africa because you know you're getting the best. In America, the worst is what you will get when it comes to food. Yes, you will get the worst. So that's one thing I think. When it comes to standard of living, I will choose Africa. I will choose Africa. So you are talking about cost of living. And I don't want to forget that. If you own house in America, right? One thing I still don't understand is that you're paying property tax. Even after you pay off your mortgage, you can still lose your house because of property tax. That kind of baffles me a lot. That the government can just decide, like, you know what? Your house is no more 500,000. Your house now worth 700,000, and they just slap you with property tax that could be $10,000 a year more. And if you don't pay, you risk the loss of losing that house. And if you don't want to lose the house, you have to sell the house. And I'm just thinking that why should I still need to pay property tax after finishing paying off my mortgage? That I pay property tax for 30 years should nullify other things. Like if you can pay for 30 years, there should be a gap. There should be a cap. Right? There's some insurance. There's some insurance that you pay certain amount of money for a certain period of the year and they cap it there and you don't have to pay anymore. So I'm thinking that why can't that happen? Because people still pay tax in this country. They still have income tax and other taxes, even though everything about this country is tax. And you get to a point you realize that you are being double or triple taxed. So when it comes to the property tax, I believe that it should get to a certain point and expire, that you don't have to pay property tax anymore. That kind of gets me scared about buying house in America, honestly, that you can lose your house because of property tax. That's
Even after the house is yours.
yes. Standard of living is expensive in America. African people need to know that it's expensive, but if you can work, you'll be able to afford that expensive lifestyle. But at the end of the day, you realize like you are trading your time for money for time, and you go back in cycle. And at the end of the day, that can lead to depression and you can commit suicide. I understand people
When
that
you don't
want to
have
come
money,
here.
you want to
I understand that some people want to come here
Is it
because of the
to work 2
situation.
jobs? I would do 3 jobs.
But I can tell
I
you,
just want to get out of here.
But I can tell you, there's a lot of people in
And then you
Nigeria
come
that
here and
will
you're
just
like,
come here for vacation and go back home because they have something going on with it for them. I understand those people
if
who
you
want
have
to
your
leave.
money, let's get something moving in Nigeria.
Yeah, I understand those people who want to.
I have a friend when I was in college that he only came to school just for school. He was living in Staten Island then. Yeah, he just comes here. He buys goods for his mom. He goes back home.
The guy.
Yeah.
If you have something going on for you in Africa, I think you will
that's
enjoy
the best.
staying.
Exactly.
The only thing is like, even if you have money or not, you're still going to use the same bad road. You have to buy solar power or you use generator. There's a lot of things that
There's
is
a lot
wrong
of headache
that
you have to deal with.
Yeah.
True.
But I can tell you today that if Nigeria can generate stable electricity, a lot of people will start doing business and it will work for them. So that's a nice thing. But I believe people don't realize that to make a country better, we have to patronize what the country is producing. And we have to try and invest. And I want to make this point because I think I said to someone on Instagram sometimes that If African guy is trying to make money, he's not trying to make money because he wants a better life for people or trying to create an enabling environment for people. An average Nigerian or let me use Nigerian because I don't know
Average
about
African.
I don't want to say an average African. An average Nigerian want to make money to oppress the other guy. Period. If not, there's no need for you to get into a Yahoo business. You make a lot of money, but you claim you go into Yahoo business because of poverty. And now you make a lot of money. What did you do?
Why
You go
is
to the
it?
club,
Blow it.
and you're looking for another client. Now I'm using Burna Boy, Davido, Wizkid, and Co. I want to use them as a case study, right? These are guys that start from nothing. But because of music industry, they make millions of dollars. In my own opinion, I'll think that, okay, these people can,
Go back home.
go back home, help the government. We know we have useless government. I can tell you that for a fact. We have useless set of people in the
Don't tell me
politics.
for free.
Yeah. But these are the people, they will tell you I can understand them if they're saying, oh, the environment is not enabling. But I'm expecting those people can come together, build something that where people can work, create some job, but they would rather use that money to go and buy a car worth millions of dollars and oppress the other guy.
Lambo.
And they'll be doing competition among each other. The video will buy Maybach, Whiskey will go and buy Bentley, things like that. They make money to oppress the other guy instead of making life better for the other guy. You know where you're coming from. And all of a sudden, what's more important to you is buying all this Bentley, I'm not saying they can't buy those cars, they work for it, but I'm just saying that look at the environment. Look at it. Look at one general hospital. The money that you can be using to buy just 4-seat car that you drive around Lagos, you can invest it in such hospital that people will go there and get good health care. That's what I think we should be. That's the way or the direction I think all these people that are making money, you're still young, all these young kids making money, millions of dollars. That's where I think they should be focusing or thinking of how they can give back to Africa. How can we make Africa better? Because you know why? A monopoly of wealth do not command respect. That's one thing I like about the Jewish people. They uplift each other. They make money as a community. They don't make money as individual. So that's why they are very powerful. And that's why till today you see a Dangote of a person can be kind of mistreated at any airport outside Nigeria. But if Africa make money as a whole together, and they see how powerful we are, they will not mistreat us. I don't know if you get what I'm saying, that if we make money as individual, we don't command respect, you don't command power. Money is power, but it cannot be power if it's alone. It has to be a collective weight for that to move mountain. That's what I'm saying, that if these people can come together, create weight, bring a lot of people up, you will see less people will want to japa.
Sure.
So that standard of living we should be thinking of. So I think any other thing that comes to your mind?
Religion.
Religion? I don't even want to talk about that.
No. We said, what are the advantages and disadvantages? Advantages in Nigeria, yes, you have Christianity,
religious,
you have
but
Muslim,
why?
you have other things. Over here, you have the freedom to practice anything.
Yeah.
So
that's religion should be another topic on its own entire, because, and I'm going to say before we go, if Nigerian government do not step up, Nigerian government, if they do not step up when it comes to this religion that is going on, that's what's going to break Nigeria up. You see,
that's another reason.
Nigeria is a secular state that you have the freedom to.
Exactly, you have the freedom to practice your religion.
Your religion, right?
So but if there's a threat to that,
it's getting to a point now why other religion have been threatened by the Islamic religion.
Exactly.
Because if you ask anybody in Nigeria today, right, the only religion that threats other religion is Islam. And people are trying to begin to say that is Nigeria a Muslim country, or you have freedom to practice your
religion.
So I expect Nigerian government to step up on this, pass a law that make people, it's more or less like you have Nigerian law and you have Islamic law in Nigeria, and the government didn't say anything about it. So I don't want to talk about it because it's kind of complex. It's really complex. It's a whole topic on its own. So I don't think I want to go there right now. But I just expect Nigerian government to step up on that. So another thing I want to talk about in America living here is that the government system, even though it's not perfect, but you can still understand that they still care about the people. They are very sensitive about what they do in how they spend money. And I mean, compared to Nigeria, when you look at the government system, you will understand that here is working. It's working here. So that's another thing. But before we go, I want to ask you that if you have the power today to change one thing that will affect the whole world, what would that be? Western part of the world, what job are you likely not to take if you are
What
offered?
job am I likely
Likely
not
not
to
to
take
take if you are offered that job.
if I'm offered that job?
Yeah,
Ever.
that you will not take.
I can't think of anything right now.
All right, for me, the job I will not take is teaching job. I will never be a teacher in the western part of the world. I can never be a teacher. And it still baffles me. It still kind of really, I don't know how I feel when I still realize that people want to teach in
Which
America.
type of teacher? Because you can be a high school teacher, you could be a baby teacher, you could be a
I'm not talking about
college
lecturer.
teacher.
Let's take college out of it. I'm talking about from
high
high school
middle
downward.
school.
High school downward, I can never be a
Okay.
teacher. I can never, ever be a teacher.
Never, ever.
I don't know what they're going to offer me. And I really give kudos to teachers in the
teachers.
western part of the world because
The
the kids they
children,
are raising today.
another breed.
So I don't know, and it still amazes me that we have people who want to be a teacher. But I can tell you that in the next 20 years, there's going to be a shortage of teachers due to the fact that we have parents
They are not
that
training their children
don't raise their
the
kids
right
well,
way.
and they still misbehave. And when you try to correct those kids, they want to fight you. So that alone, I can't stand. I cannot stand any child that is, that is not cultured or not well behaved. I can't stand the rude. Why did I bring this up? I saw a video that a bus driver, a lady, was trying to sit this little guy down. They don't have seat belts in the bus, and you can't stand because those seats are iron. So if the bus stop abruptly, you can hit your head, and it's going to be bus driver's fault. So the operator is trying to sit this guy down that, please, you have to sit. You can't stand while the bus in the motion. And the guy was, very small boy. I don't think this boy can be more than 6 or 7 years. And he was abusing, trying to kick this bus driver. And some people are saying the bus driver is wrong. That you can't put your hand on, not like she's beating the boy, but holding
to
sit him down. That you have to sit. Why? The boss is in motion. But the guy, and was like, this show the kind of parent this boy will have. If you can't take simple instruction. So for that, I cannot be a teacher in America. Number 2 is that if I have the power to change anything today in the whole world that will affect the whole world, it's going to be social media.
Oh, cancel social media.
I will cancel social media. Yeah.
Let's go back to 2000s.
If I don't want to cancel social media totally, I will ban anything on social media that is not positive or that is not teaching value. You can't come on social media. If I have the power,
naked.
You can't come to social media with your content by dancing nude or gossiping or carrying fake news, all those things. That's why if I have power today, it will be social media.
Like if I have power, I'll say we'll have social media police. I'm sure they have it, but I don't
we
think
have jail time for people that carry misinformation or misleading information, or there will be jail time for those who come to social media to show their body parts. That's what I will cancel because it's getting too much. It's leading our kids the kids are. All these things are just going around here. So those are the things that I will change, and that's going to be our next topic if we're coming back on this podcast. All right, guys, that's going to be it for us today, and we hope you're enjoying yourself. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for not offering me anything on your show.
That well, I'll make that happen next time. I'll make that happen. You know, like this is kind of impromptu. You're
Mm.
not even ready for this. I can see that, but we just have to do what we have to do. All right. Thanks for being here with me. I really appreciate this. Until next time, stay blessed, guys. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.